Hi, I'm Linda. Glad to have you back. Today I'm going to be doing a little waterfall. It has lots of trees in the background with a pretty waterfall falling down and splashing into a little stream. It's got rocks in the bottom of the stream. I'll show you step by step. So pause and paint. Follow me. And so let's get started. So here are the paints I used. Acrylics, black and white, oiled, liquid white, titanium white, black, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, Van Dyke brown, sap green, yellow ochre, cad yellow, and red. And I've painted black about halfway down, made a little ridge line there underneath where the trees are. Just brush that in, don't go all the way, just maybe a quarter of the way down. And now take a 1-inch, dip into black acrylic, and just tapping to making some leaves up there. Then I'm taking a little tiny brush into solid black and I'm creating some trees, lots of little trees in there. And then I dip in a little white and I'm doing the white trees. Just here and there. And you can mix a little white and black, make a light gray and put some gray ones in there. And just put as many as you want. Leave a little opening in the back though. And just put little twigs and things in there. And then I've got a sponge, a sea sponge. Dip that in my black. And now I'm just making some more leafy things in there and just going all around, just making it look brushy. Now the bottom half, it looks like an upside down tornado. So I'm creating my rocks in there before I put the black in. I want to do that first. So I'm just taking a little filbert, dipping it into some gray and light gray, and just making little circle rocks in there, and then I'm tipping some of those rocks with some white so they stand out. And that's going to be in underneath, well, where the stream is. And then after that's totally dry, I put liquid clear on the whole canvas, all the way up and all the way down, just brushing it lightly. You don't need a lot, but you want a little bit on there. So then, after it's all dry, taking a little 1-inch, I've dipped it in some phthalo blue, and I'm just lightly going over the top there in between the trees. And then after a bit, after I get the blue in there, I'll take a shop rag and I'll go into the center part and I'll take a little bit of that paint off, just a little bit, just to lighten that up. So I'm going down in the bottom with some phthalo blue, and again I'll cover that with blue, and then I'll take a shop rag and I'll take as much blue off as I think, so the rock shows through. And then I'll go all the way up again with the blue up to the black there, and just put some blue in there because we're going to have some water coming down there, a waterfall. So now I'm on a palette knife, went into some Van Dyke brown, and I'm going to create some cliffs. So I'm just pulling down a little bit, and then I'm going to dip my palette knife with a combination of yellow ochre, a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to go right over that brown. Pull down lightly. See how pretty that looks? It's a little marble effect. It's like double loading my palette knife. Just a little bit. You get some great effects doing it that way. Now I'm going into a little bit of liquid white and a little bit of titanium white mixed. And just pulling down with my fan brush. You don't want it real thick, not real thick paint on that part. Just putting a little on the end of the fan brush, pull down. Now I'm going to dip in a little bit of phthalo blue and just pull down lightly so it looks like more like water. Just ever so light. Just pull down. You don't want a big waterfall there. So anyway, now I'm taking my 2-inch. I just tapped it in some titanium white, very, very little amount there, and just making the little splashies down the base of the waterfall. Very light touches. Then I'm going to take a clean dry brush and just tap over that so it blurs it just a little bit. Now I back in with my palette knife with the brown, the Van Dyke brown, with a little touch of yellow ochre, and just pull down. Get that nice little roll on there. And just go into straight Van Dyke on the right side of that, and then go over it with brown. I'm making the top of the cliff. I'm trying to level that out a little bit so it looks like part of it's coming over the waterfall, and then pulling down some of that color. Adding some more dark brown. And I want that to go a little bit to the left there. I'm going to have lots of foliage in there, so. And you can mess with it and put lighter colors in there. The water's falling off of it. Add a little red. That makes for pretty too. Alright, so now I made some, went into my phthalo blue with a touch of sap green. Just a touch. Mix that up, and I'm tapping it with my 2-inch. I'm making some base colors for some leaves and brush back there. I'm using the corner, using the flat edge. I'm just putting some background for foliage. When I put my highlights on there, it's going to look really pretty. And I'm going to go pretty much all the way down with that bluish green. And I'll do the same thing to the other side. Just tap in some of that bluish green, just go into the background there and just shape your leaves, shape your branches there, and just lightly tap. Just angling toward the waterfall, because that's a cliff area, so you don't want it straight across. You want it angled downward toward the falls. So now I dipped in some sap green with a little bit of cad yellow, and I'm going to highlight some of those areas we just put down. So just keep tapping lightly, angling your leaves there, shapes. You don't need a lot up there, but it is a forest, and you know, you can make as many as you want. Just tapping and angling, reloading If you see it getting kind of light, just tap it back into your paint. It's so much fun making leaves. I love doing these. Brings it all to life. And you want to bring it over your rocks there, over your cliff, like they're hanging over. And now I've done the other side. Added a little more yellow on one side. And that's just highlighting. You can highlight with some cad yellow. Doesn't have to be all the same color green. Now this, wow, yeah, I really went crazy on this. But you'll see after the water's in how pretty it looks. Now I'm putting in some rocks down there in my little stream, and that's light brown, a little bit of Van Dyke brown with some yellow ochre and touch of white in those. You want to be able to see those. And I'm just kind of tipping over where the rocks would be, leaving some of those blue ones exposed. And just putting them here and there. Both sides. Just a little brush, a little filbert, soft brush that just make a little U shapes on top, just very gently. Some a little more white than others. Everyone's a little bit different. Now I'm loading up with some liquid white and a little bit of titanium, making it not real thin, and I'm just gently going back and forth. I'm going to create some water movement in there along the right side there of the rocks. Just kind of zigzagging in there and just putting some movement in the water. I'm going to put in a little bit of water movement, little falls there, just a little bit over the rocks, just gently pulling down. Just bringing it all together. Don't need a lot in there, but you want to be able to see that there is some movement in the stream. Gee, I almost see a finished painting here. Wow, I really love doing this one. I hope you did too. So if you want to see more of these, click the like button, follow me, and even share if you'd like. Until then, happy painting and God bless.